So I know this video is extremely delayed because by the time I post it, it's definitely the middle of February, but I was out of town for the beginning of January. But these are all 8 books I read in the month of January. I got a lot of popular titles in, as you can see. I'm just gonna go over a little bit of what I thought about the book and give my star rating, but I'm also not gonna give any spoilers, just in case anyone was worried. So the very first book I read in January was Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. I had read the first in the series in December, and I really liked it. So I continued the series, and then I also read The Final Offer after that one. So in the whole series, you're pretty much following these 3 brothers that are doing different tasks to earn their inheritance that they're getting from their grandfather when he passed. So in Terms and Conditions, you're following Declan and Iris, and pretty much in order for Declan to earn his inheritance, he has to get married. So he marries his assistant pretty much after she volunteers to do so. So pretty much you're just following that fake marriage and how Declan earns his inheritance. And then as for The Final Offer, you're following Callahan and Alana. So Callahan has to sell his family's lake house in order to get his inheritance, but his childhood best friend and also ex-girlfriend Alana lives there currently. So yeah, you're pretty much just following the other 2 brothers and what they have to do to get their inheritance. But they're very interesting reads. I gave them both a 4-star. I do like how her romances are a lot more complex than just like a regular romance would be. I mean, just by the sheer size of them. She's got a lot to say. So I do recommend these. And then I finally read Fourth Wing. I didn't read this when it first came out because I wasn't really into fantasy quite yet, but when I did finally pick it up, I do understand the hype, I really do. I was really thinking going into it that with how much hype this book got and how popular it was, that it probably wasn't as good as everyone made it out to seem. But it was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I am putting off reading Iron Flame because now everyone's not happy about that book. So it's sitting down there on my TBR cart. So if you don't know what this book is about, you're following Violet, and she is originally supposed to go to like the scribe quadrant of their college, and she's described as like very fragile and like brittle bone, and she's always getting hurt. But with her mother as the general, she is now forced to go into the writer's quadrant and pretty much train to like ride dragons pretty much. And she kind of goes against everyone's opinions and like fights for her survival and does very well with doing that. So that's all I'm gonna say about the plot because I don't honestly remember what would be a spoiler. So we're just gonna move on. But I highly do recommend it. All of like the fantasy vibes are really good. Honestly, I didn't think I would love reading about dragons, but now I want my own dragon. So everyone should read this book pretty much. I did give it a 5-star by the way. And then I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This book, man. I gave this one a 5-star as well. When people say it's kind of like the Hunger Games, I totally agree with it. It just is in a different way because their end goal isn't to kill everyone. That's all I'm going to say about the trials. That's what they call them in this book. So in this world, there's like the elites and the ordinaries. Pretty much the elites have like powers and the ordinaries don't. And at one point in their history, they had like exterminated the ordinaries pretty much. But some had really good survival instincts and survived. Like Peyton, she's an ordinary. After saving the Prince of Iliad, Peyton finds herself like competing in the trials and is having to form like alliances with people and lie about her being an ordinary. And so you're pretty much just following all of that, and it's so good. The whole like world that you're into is amazing, and like this cover is stunning, as well as, let's go back to this. This is beautiful too. I got I think it was the holiday edition. But anyway. I'm really looking forward to the next one coming out. I think it's coming out in July. I know there's a novella about Peyton's friend that's coming out in April, so I'm really looking forward to reading that as well. But highly recommend. Once again, I gave it a 5-star. So then I read A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. I gave it like a 2-star. I would say the title got me because I was really expecting a lot more from this. I would say the vibes kind of compare to the Dreamland Billionaire series that I had read earlier this year. You're also following these like 3 really rich brothers. They don't have any like inheritance they're competing for, but the setting of like a billionaire romance is there. So essentially, this girl Lottie, she's out on the street. She's quite literally out walking around with the hopes that she runs into like a rich man who wants to marry her. And as soon as she does run into Huxley, he had been looking for someone to play it as his fake fiance. They pretty much had the same goals, but a lot of the writing and the scenes were kind of just a little bit cringy kind of, and just not enjoyable. I liked the overall plot of it. It was really interesting, and I did finish it because of that, but I just skimmed past a lot of it. It just really wasn't doing it for me. So I'd say like 2.5 at most. Yeah. And then I read The Six of Crows duology. I gave each of them a 4-star. I'm not going to talk about Crooked Kingdom because it is following the Six of Crows book, so everything is a spoiler pretty much. So essentially you're following these 6 like criminals. It says 6 outcasts on the front, but they're pulling off this heist, and just every little plot point was super well thought out, and just the little bits of romance that keep you really involved with the character development. It was a very eerie setting, but it was very well done, and I really enjoyed these 2 books. I gave them both a 4-star, like I said. I'm planning on reading the Shadow and Bone trilogy next, just because of how much I really enjoyed her writing. She just developed this world so well. So the last book I read in January was Anatomy by Dana Schwartz. Literally found this book at a used bookstore and bought it because the cover is just so beautiful. Even like the actual cover. But I won't be reading the second one. I think it's called Immortality, but I'm not going to be reading it. It was a weird book. I wouldn't recommend it unless you know what you're getting yourself into. It's set in the early 1800s, and this girl Hazel really wants to become a surgeon, but in the time she's in and in the society she's in, that's really frowned upon for women to pretty much do anything. She's pretty much going through all these different obstacles to become a surgeon, and I thought that was all it was. But it's not, and there's like grave digging involved and a lot of like gorier scenes, and I'm sure for most people it's like not that gory, but I just really don't enjoy like scary things and very bloody kind of scenes. This was just like a different kind because it's like surgery and stuff, so I would not recommend it unless you know what you're getting yourself into. And the writing just wasn't as good as I was hoping either, and yeah, 2 stars for sure. So that's all 8 books I read in the month of January. I would say I had a pretty good reading month because a lot of the books were either a 5 or 4-star or a 2-star. But I wanted to go over a few books I'm really looking forward to reading this month, and I'm not going to go over the ones I already read, but they would have been included if I hadn't already read them. But some of them are sitting right here. I just reorganized my book cart today. So these are the main books I'm looking forward to reading this month that I haven't read yet. These 2 books actually came out on February 6th, so I'm really looking forward to reading these. I think Bride's actually going to be my next read. But I also started the ACOTAR series, which once again, I'm very late to the trend, like I was to Fourth Wing. But it happens, I'm reading it. So I don't think I'm going to finish it in the month of February just because I really do want to savor the rest of it. I really do want to start the Car Revolt trilogy because I really loved Stephanie Garber's writing, so I really want to read that next. So that's what this little stack is my most anticipated reads. We got plenty to choose from. Okay, that was all the books I read in January, and I'm going to try to upload my February wraps closer to the end of February so it's not the middle of the month again. But I still hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe got some book recommendations or just like hearing my reviews. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any videos you want to see from me, please let me know in the comments. So I'm not just doing book wrap-up videos. I'm thinking about doing like read with me vlogs and that kind of stuff. So let me know if that is something you guys would be interested in seeing. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one.